Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the momentum shift is what you've been looking for.
$25,700 a year with wife and 2 kids. Do I stay here struggling to pay my bills, struggling to keep my head up, just struggling to keep food on the table? Or do I take a risk and leave? I got $200 to my name in the bank.
Now, most would say, no, I'm staying here.
I go through that. I go through those 4 questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best that can happen if I quit this job and follow my dream?
Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift, a show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. I'm your host, Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation, and I'm excited to have you joining me. Every week, this show is designed to provide you tools, tips, methods, experiences, messages that will help you overcome your obstacles, unlock the potential you have, and create momentum shifts that will ultimately turn the impossible into possible for you. I have a guest with me here, ladies and gentlemen, today that I'm really happy to have. You don't get this opportunity too often. And when he tells you that you win with Willie, let me tell you, he definitely backs it up. He's a world-renowned speaker. He's a Hall of Fame speaker. He's winner of the Cavett Award, which means he's the best speaker out there. He's a winner of the Joe Biden Medal of Honor, voted one of 5 best speakers in the world by Toastmasters, and his books are changing lives around the world. In fact, it's so big internationally that the president of the United States quoted him in one of his speeches when he said, America is about understanding how the setback can set up a comeback. That's his book that is an international bestseller, ladies and gentlemen, and it's changed many lives. And I'm excited to have him here, his Sirius Radio. I mean, I can just name all these different things, but I'll let him do the talking. Dr. Willie Jolley, thank you for joining me, sir.
My brother, it's a pleasure, a privilege, and a joy to be able to be on with you. And for those who are able to see this interview, we have something in common. We're both featured on the front of Speakers Magazine, and I'm honored to be on the front of Speakers Magazine for January of this year. And Eric is a former front cover person on Speakers Magazine. So bravo to you, my friend.
Thank you. And I tell you, you had a big year the last. I mean, that's huge. Talk to me a little bit about how you feel with being recognized after, that overnight success of 30 some years of speaking.
Yeah. Overnight success only took 30 years to get here. 32 actually. But last year was a great year in terms of getting the Joseph R. Biden Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award and being the recipient of the highest award in the speaking industry, the Cavett Award, named after the founder of the National Speakers Association, Cavett Robert. And I was doubly or expressly excited because I'm the first African-American man to get that award. So that's a big deal, and I'm very grateful. So, man, I'm just grateful, and I'm giving God glory, and I'm honored and excited. So it's good to be on with you and to say to all your viewers, listeners, followers, friends, all the above. But those who know, I always start the same way. Somewhere in this speech you're going to get. I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. It's forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I did not seek it. No, I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you, to share with your followers, your friends, your people in your network, ideas to help them win more in their daily pursuits and their personal efforts and their professional efforts and their family efforts and their financial life and their future and every part of their life. I want them to win. And that's what we help people do. And that's what I want to help people do today.
Hey, and let's start off with my number one question. What does
Sure.
momentum shifting mean to you, and what has it meant to your life?
Say that again.
What does momentum shifting mean to you, and what has it meant to your life?
Well, momentum shifting is interesting. It's an interesting concept because you got really two words that must be taken in context of each word by itself as a powerful word by itself. You just talked about momentum, the momentum program, but you got momentum shift. So let's start with momentum, the power of momentum. All activity is created because of inertia. And that means there's some initiative that has been taken by somebody to do something. So momentum is when that initiative, that inertia is exposed to be expanded and it's grown exponentially. So I like to say in one of my books, I can't remember which one, that if you take one horse that by itself is powerful, can pull 2,500 pounds, and you take another powerful horse that by itself can pull 2,000 pounds, you would think that together, the 2,500 and the 2,000 make 4,500. Together, they could pull 4,500 pounds. Right. But that's not the case. When they get together and they pull together because of momentum, they can pull over 6,000 pounds together. Okay. That's the power of momentum and working together. And then when you shift, now shift is another powerful word. During the pandemic, we heard people talk about you must pivot. Well, you must also shift. Now, if you're driving a car, when I first started driving a car, Eric, you probably too young to know about a 3-speed. I had a 3-speed, which is not a 4-speed, a 3-speed. And 3-speed was a car you had on the steering wheel. There was a gear shift, and you had to work the clutch to get the car into gear to drive, to be able to go forward or backward and park it. And so you had a gear shift that you would shift the car, but you also then got to the 4-speed. So then it went from first gear to second gear. It shifted another level. Right. And so with momentum, you get that power that is going with inertia. And then you take that inertia and you shift into another gear. It's a whole nother thing. And that's what we want people to do. Now, here's the thing though, Eric.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
That's
what I want people to know. Because it sounds easy. Because we say it so casually, momentum shift. You can get a momentum shift. But this ain't easy. No. It's not easy. In fact, it might be one of the most difficult things you'll ever do in your life. You have to have a process and a procedure and a system and a dedication to do that work every day or whatever it takes to get it done. Sometimes you'll have to, if you set a goal or you get some obligations and you say, I've got to have a momentum shift to meet this obligation, to hit this goal, you say, well, I'm going to give it my best. Well, you know what? Your best might not be good enough to get a momentum shift. Right. So you got to go beyond your best. You got to do beyond what you're comfortable with, what you even think is what your best is. I often tell people, I have a goal setting course on my winwithwillie.com site, where I tell people to go and set goals, because goals can empower your life, can change your life, can transform your life. That's what happened to me. The goals transformed my life, my setting goals, learning how to set goals. And learning that most people don't set goals for one or two reasons. One, they don't know how, or two, because it's hard work. It's cognitive. You got to You got to work in your brain. Your brain is sweating. Your brain is struggling. Your brain is stressing. Your brain, it's like lifting 100-pound weight when you're not used to it. That's how, when you got to set goals, your brain's not used to doing it. It's
Right.
hard work, cognitive, mental work. But anyway,
Yeah.
in the goal setting class, I tell people that you got to go beyond your best. So I tell them, I'm going to show you how important it is to keep setting goals rather than just setting them once.
Right.
Because if I told everybody, and everybody who's listening can try this, from where you are right now, turn as far as you can to your left. And everybody will turn to the left and they'll go as far as they can. Now, I want everybody to do that exercise. You know, if you're sitting somewhere, go as far as you can to your left. Okay, I go as far as I can to my left. Now, come back to center. Now, do it again, but this time, go further.
Mm.
And 100% out of 100% of people who do the second time will go further than they went the first time.
Gotcha.
I said in the first place, go
Right.
as far as you can go.
Limited belief.
And that's as far as they thought they could go until I pushed them to go further. And so that is why the process of momentum shifting is very difficult, because we are all creatures of habit. We are creatures of some sort of limitations.
Right.
We have them. I could tell everybody, go outside and pick up a car. You cannot pick it up. But there are stories of people whose mothers, whose children were trapped in a car in an accident, who by themselves picked up a car to free their child. There's stories like that.
Yes.
So go is beyond, you got to learn to go beyond your best. And that takes time. I mean, I wish I could tell you this is easy, but it's not. But it's possible. And that's why you get people like Eric and myself, people who can help you, who can coach you. Well, you know, I got a trainer, Eric.
Okay.
I have a trainer, and I go to the gym, and my trainer will say, yesterday we were training, and he said, now I want you to do as many of these bench presses as you can do. And I did as many as I could do because my arms were just burning up. He said, I went to put the thing on the pole. He said, do 5 more. What? Oh my God, do 5 more. He hollering at, oh, and I did 5 more.
You had to trick that mind, huh?
Because that's what we think. Our body and our mind does not always go together. They're not always in simpatico. So that said, that's a long answer to a short question.
But it's great though, powerful.
Yeah, what does momentum shift mean to me? And it means numerous things, as I've told you, but it is possible. And if you can get a mindset, I'm talking something big here, mindset. I'm working on my new book.
Well, can I stop you there for a second?
You may.
Can we come back to that? Because when you talk about momentum shift, I had an opportunity to hear you speak in Alexandria, I believe, at the Get Motivated seminar.
Yeah. Okay.
And I never knew this about you. You sang, and you actually showed up one night, and you were replaced by a karaoke machine. That was an opportunity for you to shift momentum. What was the mindset when that happened to you? How long did it take you to really come out of that funk, or did you go into a funk? And what made you decide to move forward with speaking?
Oh yeah, I went into a deep funk. I mean, at that point in my life, I had been a jingle singer.
Okay.
Singing jingles for Pizza Hut and BET and Oldsmobile and Cadillac and Washington Gas and Pepco and 7th Heaven, 7-Eleven, news shows. I'm making some money as a jingle singer, but the majority of my income was coming from singing in the nightclubs on Friday, Saturday nights, Thursday, and then it expanded to Thursday and Friday and Saturday nights. We'd have 2 shows a night, and on weekends we'd have 3 shows a night. And people would line up at 7 o'clock for the 8 o'clock show, 9 o'clock for the 10 o'clock show, 11 o'clock for the midnight show. I mean, we were packing them in. Okay. And things were going great. But then the owner told me one day we made a change. We love you guys, y'all making us a lot of money, but there's something else that's packing in nightclubs. It's a new thing, and they can do it 24/7.
Uh-huh.
They said we bought a karaoke machine. I said, well, what about my bills?
Right.
Learned that nobody cares about your bills but you and the people you owe. And I was devastated because I'd worked so hard to build that club into a popular night spot. But
Gotcha.
I got fired, replaced by a karaoke machine.
And that's kind of like an employee gets that loyalty to the job, and they're working hard, believing that they're taking the ownership, and then all of a sudden they're replaced and they don't know what to do.
That's exactly right. Often I tell people in my speeches that many people in America are going through the same thing. They worked hard, they did everything right.
Hmm.
It wasn't because of performance. It was a numbers game, or it was a change in the economy, or there was a new technology. Whatever it was, they still got fired.
Hmm.
I was devastated. I was devastated. And I was in a funk. I couldn't get out of bed. If you have ever come to see my one-man show, I tell the whole story in detail. By the way, the next one is April 27th here in Washington. You want to come.
I
Everybody
will
wants
be there.
April 27th. Go to thecomebackshow.com, thecomebackshow.com. Get your tickets. It's a one night only. Get your tickets. Anyway, but I was devastated. But someone gave me some motivational materials. I never heard a motivational tape, had never heard a motivational speaker, had never heard anything that was motivational except church. But that was more inspiration. I need or theological or preachy.
Right.
I needed some motivation right that moment to get me off the canvas. I've been knocked down.
Yeah.
And I listened to this motivational tape and it changed my life. And then I read the book, Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
And between that audio and that book, everything changed.
Gotcha.
Everything changed. So, by the way, I'm gonna give somebody a gift because I try and bless people along the way. Uh, I'm honored that I was chosen as one of the 53 thought leaders to celebrate the impact Think and Grow Rich had on businesses and making people successful.
Congrats.
And Think and Grow Rich has created more millionaires than any other book other than the Bible. And I'm honored that they invited me to be part of that celebration of the 75th anniversary of its release. And so I now get to give it away to friends. Eric, you're my friend. Now, any friend of yours is a friend of mine. For the people who are watching or listening, can
Awesome.
get access to a digital copy of the book Changed My Life, Think and Grow Rich. If you'll go to wjwow.com, wjwow.com. It will be a digital copy. You can download it right there and you can impact your life, your family, your future, your finances. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, I am very grateful that I got fired now. I look back in retrospect, but that book and that audio changed everything.
Yeah.
And then I went on to start speaking about a year later
Yeah.
as my
So,
job.
so were there any habits that you had to create, habits that you had to recreate? Excuse me, new habits that you had to create, or did you just need to improve on the ones you implemented
No,
and you became a
I
singer?
wish, I wish it was that case. No, I had to become a new me. I
Okay.
had literally transformed. I had a transformational process. And I believe that is what those people who really do great things go through. They have transformational, not just evolutionary.
Okay.
They transform. First of all, I wasn't a reader before,
Okay.
before that. I never read books. I had never read another self-help book, what I would consider a self-help book, or the development book after my last year of schooling, of
Okay.
college or graduate school. I went to graduate school. I wouldn't read no books. I was reading the sports pages. I was singing. I wasn't reading.
Right.
So that one thing I started doing.
Yeah,
There's a correlation between the books you read and the money you make.
yeah.
Number two.
I always tell people the only book I read up to the age of 30 until I started working on myself was The Godfather. That was it. Other than that, I wasn't reading.
You were ahead of me, my brother. You was ahead of me. I didn't even get there. I watched the movie. That was it. Reading first, writing goals, setting and writing goals. Never had done that before.
Okay.
Going to seminars, listen to audios and video motivational programs.
Okay.
I changed my lifestyle in terms of when I got up.
All right.
Because I had been a nightclub performer. I usually would not get up to 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, sometime noon.
Right.
I perform at night. So, but even then, I would just laze around, or I would do little projects around my house, but I didn't have a set goal process. But once I got fired, once I went and got those motivational materials and started reading, going to seminars, changing my thinking, everything changed. I got up early. I set my goals for the day. I worked out. I got a system, and I started working on my goals and dreams every day. So everything changed. I started reading, time for self-development. I started working on my brain. You know, your brain is a terrible thing to waste.
Yes.
And far too often, people will waste their brain with foolishness. You know, what's on reality television? TikTok. Not that I have any, well, I'm on TikTok.
Yes.
I'm on all the social media, but some of the stuff on there is a waste of time.
Right.
It's a waste of time. And so I had to change. I had to make some tough decisions. One more big. I stopped hanging around with negative people.
I was going to ask you, who'd you have to give up?
I had to give up some people. Now, that didn't mean I stopped liking them, being friends with them. I just didn't hang with them anymore.
Gotcha.
I made a commitment. I'm not hanging with them anymore because they're negative. They're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything with their lives. All they do is sit around and talk about people. All they do is sit around and talk about things. They never talk about ideas. There's no improvement, no development, no forecasting, no dreaming. Just take life as it is.
Right.
You know, how you doing? Good enough, man. You know, I'm taking it easy, baby. You
Same
know,
old stuff, different day.
Yeah, man. You know, I had to get out of that.
Yeah.
That wasn't working. And so I am so glad I did, Eric, because some of them are still there.
Yeah.
Some of them are still there. And one guy, now let me tell you, this is a true example of what's possible. A dude from the neighborhood came up to me after a few of my books had hit bestsellers. I'm on television and radio. And he said, Willie, I gotta ask you a question, man. What happened? How'd you get smart? You was in a dummy class with us. You were in a dummy group with us in school. You were in a dummy class. What happened? I said, man, I decided.
There you go.
I made a decision. And here's the thing. You can decide too.
Yeah.
So you don't have to stay in this malaise, this mediocrity. You don't have to stay here. You can change your life if you know how. I got so much good stuff. I got 2 new books. I got to tell you this because one book is called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better.
All right.
That's going to be out soon. The other one just goes along with what I just said. The second one is called You Can Win Now, even when you don't think you can.
Yeah.
All you need to know is how.
I like
you can now, even if you don't think you can. All you need to know is how. I'm gonna teach you how.
Yeah, you just got to take a shot, right?
Got to take your shot, but it got to be it's got to be a calculated shot. And I want them to take a shot, but not a stupid shot.
Okay.
I want to take a calculated, wise shot. Because see, what happens is people sometimes take a shot and it's the wrong shot.
He's shooting at the wrong basket.
Oh man, and they have not thought it out. They have not planned it out. They have not considered all of the pluses, pros, and cons. It's just going to be. So I'm gonna give y'all, everybody right now, you've got to take risks, and I think that's what you meant by taking a shot.
Yes.
You got to take a risk. You got to take a chance. You got to step out on faith. Now, 4 questions in my book. An Attitude of Excellence. I think this is in my book, An Attitude of Excellence. They're in one of my books. 4 questions that you must ask yourself before you take a shot. It's called the risk-taking formula.
Okay.
If you ask yourself these 4 questions, you will always get the right answer. Question number 1. What's the best that could happen if I take this shot? If I do this thing? If I take this risk? What's the best that could happen? Write it down. Well, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this.
Right.
Wow. Question number 2. What's the worst that could happen if I do this?
Right.
And it doesn't work.
Okay.
Write it down.
I can learn that I could do something different. I got to change it up.
Number 3. What's the most likely thing to happen?
Get a result out of it.
You got to think about the most likely thing.
Gotcha.
What do you think would be the most likely? You're not sure, but what do you guess? Because you're guessing at that point.
Yeah.
The first 2 are pretty more definitive. But number 4 is the most important of the questions. Are you willing to live with the worst to get to the best? So let's go back to my life.
Okay.
I was working for the school system after I got fired from a job with the nightclub. Got a job with the school system. During that year, I started speaking. I become popular. I mean, it really catches on. And within a year, I got to make a decision.
Okay.
Do I stay here at this low salary? I was making $25,700 a year. $25,700 a year with wife and 2 kids. Do I stay here struggling to pay my bills, struggling to keep my head up, just struggling to keep food on the table? Or do I take a risk and leave? I got $200 to my name in the bank.
Now, most would say, no, I'm staying here.
I go through those 4 questions. What's the best that can happen if I quit this job and follow my dream? I can make millions of dollars.
Right.
I could travel around the world.
Yeah.
I could have nice cars. That would be the best.
Gotcha.
Have my wife work with me. She can leave her job. Educate our children. Don't have to worry about getting loans. That would be the best.
Yeah.
What would be the worst thing that could possibly happen?
Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light. And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and tap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me, and that meant my 3 children were going to be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on a promise to my kids where I told them that I was their father. Nobody would ever be in the house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never have to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man. What happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live, you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's going to save you when all you got to do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You got to get in the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I got to step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
If you took that risk.
If I took that risk, what the worst that could happen was I could lose my house.
Yeah.
I could lose my house.
Yeah.
Was death one of the worst things that could happen?
No.
No. I could lose my house. I ask you a question, Eric. If I lost my house, is it possible I could get another house?
Definitely. Yes, you can find a place. I know people who foreclosed on houses, who've been evicted, and they find another place soon.
I had Kathy Hughes on my Sirius XM show. I'm gonna get back to that point.
Okay.
Kathy Hughes, founder of Radio One, the largest Black-owned media company in America, first African-American woman to head a New York Stock Exchange company, African-American New York Stock Exchange company, multimillionaire. She lost her house. They repossessed the house. She had to make a decision. The radio station or my house. She gave it up. They repossessed her car. But she did not give it up because she made those 4 questions. So what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
What's the best that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? You didn't die. Death is not on the list. What's the most likely thing to happen? When I quit my job, said I'm going to do this. Most likely thing, I'm a struggle.
Yeah.
If I work hard enough, if I hustle hard enough, if I grind hard enough, I'll somehow keep my head above water.
Right.
Am I willing to live with the worst? Lose my house, get to the best, live my dreams. Yes.
Exactly.
All right. Now I'm gonna give you another scenario where again, those 4 questions.
Okay.
Always give you the right answer. After I started my speaking career, as I said, I had 2 kids in school. My wife could not travel with me.
Okay.
I was speaking, I don't even remember the city. It was an evening speech. At the end of the speech, I finished meeting and greeting people. It's a big room of people. I went to my hotel room, and there was a knock on the door. Wow, I didn't order anything from room service. I wonder who that is. I opened up the door, and there was this beautiful, voluptuous woman standing there. I mean, gorgeous.
Right.
Looked like a Playboy model.
Right.
She said, your speech tonight moved me so. The places I hadn't been moved in a long time.
Uh-oh.
I asked around, where were you? And they said, he'll go to your room. And I said, somebody tell me his room number. She said, you moved me so. Would you like some company? 4 questions. What's the best that could happen?
Right.
I could have a good rolling hay. What's the worst that could happen? I could lose my wife.
Right. Or your life.
Or my life if I got some sort, but whatever. But it wouldn't be good.
Right.
3. What's the most likely thing to happen? Most likely I'd have a one-night stand, never see again in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Am I willing to live with the worst? Lose my wife or my life.
Mm-hmm.
To get to the best. A one-night stand.
Right.
Easy answer. No, thank you. Ma'am, I'm flattered. Ma'am, I'm really, wow. I mean, I'm impressed that you would even consider spending time, but no, thank you.
Yeah. And that's how
All
you
right.
kept your wife of 30, was it 32 years?
No, 38 now.
38? Wow.
39.
Wow.
And
Congrats.
so those 4 questions will always give you the right answer. If you answer it honestly, what's the best that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? What's the most likely thing to happen? Are you willing to live with the worst to get to the best?
Gotcha.
So I encourage people to take your shot, but answer the 4 questions.
Yeah.
Answer those 4 questions. Take your risk, but you're gonna have to take risks. I
Right.
take risks every day. My wife and I talk about it all the time. She says, you know, we're on a high wire, there's no net. That's correct.
Yeah.
There's no net. But what her net is that she got every kind of insurance there is possible. Every kind of insurance that there is, she got it. And we pay that premium every month. So anyway.
It gives you life, right? It gives you
Yes,
life
sir.
on the high wire. You know what I like about what you said, everything you said? Not once did you say dial back your dreams.
No.
Not once did you say adjust the goal, change things, change what you're doing. You just said, look, ask those 4 questions. The worst that can happen is not going to die. I'm going to lose my house and I'm going to lose my car. Keep going. I
think in fact I'm always pushing and pumping and prodding and employing people to dream bigger.
Yeah.
But most people don't dream big enough.
Okay.
They don't dream big enough.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that goal setting exercise. Go as far as you can to the left. And when you go back and say, do it again, you can be bigger. Because your mind can only fathom so much at this point.
Right.
You know, oh gosh, I got so much to tell you, Eric. So in the book, Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better, it's built on 5 mindsets for money.
Okay.
And my goal in this book is to get people at each mindset to go up one level. Now, the first mindset we see in America is the indigent.
Okay.
That's the people who are on the street with a cardboard box, who are maybe homeless or unhoused, who say, give me enough money to make it today.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it today. That's all they ask for. They don't ask for enough money for a week or a month. Give me an extra change so I can get some food today. They think day to day. Then you get the next level is the 30-day mindset.
Gotcha.
1 month mindset. That's the people who live on a check that comes every month. And that monthly check is their whole survival.
Right.
The complete revenue stream is that 1 check a month. They might be on welfare or SNAP payment or on fixed income or Social Security. I don't know which one it is, but they look forward to that monthly check.
Okay.
Sometimes they are down to pennies by the next time that next check comes in. And then you got the middle class, 3rd level. Middle class tend to think year to year. Did I get a cost of living raise this year? Did I make more money this year than last year? Then you get the rich. Now, the rich tend to think decade to decade. We typically see rich with entertainment and athletes.
Right.
You know, a genre is popular this decade, but it doesn't last the next decade.
Yeah.
They blowing up this decade. Or a baseball player gets a 10-year contract to play baseball, $100 million.
Right.
And he balling for 10 years. He got 10 Bentleys, 8 Rolls Royces,
Right.
5 mansions, a plane. I mean, he balling. But after 10 years, that contract ends and he gets a younger player to replaces him. He doesn't have that money coming in like that. That check is done. There's no more check. If you don't modify your lifestyle and your spend, then you're going to go broke. Well, that's why over 70% of professional athletes are broke 5 years after retirement.
Yes.
Because they didn't modify their lifestyle. But then you get the 5th level of thinking. It's wealthy. Now, the wealthy tend to think generation to generation to generation. They are preparing for 3, 4, 5 generations down the road. The Japanese set goals, 100-year goals.
Okay.
They won't be around to see it, but they set the goal for 100 years.
Okay.
So my goal in writing this book is to get each level to go up one level. Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be too much of a leap, too big a chasm for the person who is homeless, indigent, to think like a wealthy person.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Too big a space. But if I can get them just to go up to the 30-day mindset,
Gotcha.
and if I get the 30-day folks to go up to the 1 year, and I get the 1 year to go up to the decade, and I get the decade folks to go up to the generational wealth. I mean, for real generational wealth. But when most people talk about generational wealth, they're really talking about leaving a home for their children or some money in the bank.
Yeah.
And I had a guest on my XM show, one of the best generational wealth experts, and she said, when you leave cash, it evaporates.
Yes.
When you leave real estate, it might appreciate. But most people don't get it appreciated because they sell it because they want to get to cash.
Right.
Okay. And never gets, not never, but rarely gets to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th generations.
Yeah. Wow. So I hear you talk, and I have to ask the question because I didn't ask you before. Why do you do what you do? What drives you?
Oh man, thank you. That's a great question. First of all, what the main reason I do what I do is because God called me to do this.
Okay.
It's a calling.
Gotcha.
That's the most important thing. But the second reason is more of a secular reason, I guess we would say, is I remember how much I hated going to my job when I worked for the school system.
Okay.
Hated it because they were career people I was working for were career negative people.
Okay.
You come in with a new idea, they say that ain't gonna work. No thanks. How about it? Nope, that ain't gonna. They were constantly cutting me off at the knees every time I'd come in with an idea. How do we help young people more? Nah, we ain't doing that. Nope. And somebody else could shut me down. They had the power to shut me down. And so it were days when I literally had to take my lunch break and go to my mother's house and lay down. I was so sick in my stomach.
Okay.
I hated that job. And I left and quit. I said, I will never, ever come back here. And they tell you over the years, you've heard people say never.
Yes.
Look at my mouth. Never, ever, ever. So what drove me when I was new, in those first couple of years, I was grinding. I was weary. People were hanging up in my face. Nobody was saying yes. I was getting rejection after rejection. I would have to just take a moment to think about going back to that job. Oh no, I get new energy. Oh no, oh no, oh no, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I will not go back. I will not go back. And I go back to work.
That was your energy drink right there.
It's an energy drink. Sometimes I'll be working in the office from 7 a.m. to midnight.
Okay.
Night to night. I remember a guy called me for advice. And he called right 11:30. And I answered the phone. He said, I was looking to leave a message. But my brother had told me to call you. He said he'll be working.
Yeah.
Because he works like that. Okay. So that's what drove me, Eric.
Yeah.
That's what.
Man, I love it. I had to ask that question because you're so giving. You're providing a lot of information and feedback on how you changed your life, how you shifted. But let me ask you this. Sometimes you feel when you start making those changes and you've been operating by habits and behaviors for so long that you're an imposter. You ever experienced any of that?
Oh, yeah, well, I got imposter syndrome. Not when I was speaking. I'm pretty confident it was when I started writing books.
Okay.
We have the cachet to tell people. So, but I tell people my story out of the books. And once I got to I'm just going to tell people about my failures and my warts,
Gotcha.
my setbacks, and how I didn't let them stop me.
Yeah.
And how somebody encouraged me. And often I was not the hero of the story. It was somebody else who I met along the path who realized that I was in a low place, and they encouraged me. So I didn't have to have all the answers. I didn't have to be the hero of the story. I just had to share the lessons.
Got you.
I learned along the way. So there were times when I had imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
We're doing an XM radio show. I don't know nothing about radio. What is so? Man, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
What happens if the phones don't ring?
Right.
Call-in show. What? I don't know what to do. But you know what? I just kept. I'm gonna do the best I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the best.
And the best you can. You've traveled all over the world.
Yep.
Corporations are calling you to help save them.
Yep.
And just coming from that drive and that determination of, look, I'm never ever coming back to this school.
That's right. Never ever. And now let me tell you one more thing. And I tell you this not to impress you, but to impress upon you how important it is. How much did I tell you I was making?
You told me you're making 2704.
25,700.
25,700. Okay.
I recently spoke in Dubai. 1 hour speech. They flew me over and my wife. First class Emirates.
Yeah.
40 grand. 40 grand for airfare. I spoke 1 hour, yet they put me up in the tallest hotel in the world, the JW Marriott. Dubai. They put me up for a week on their dime.
Wow.
I spoke for 1 hour. And they paid me more than twice as much as I used to make in a year with the school system.
Wow.
I say that to say there is a benefit to being willing to follow your dream.
Yeah.
Will it be hard? Let's go back to momentum shift.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be hard, folks. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a heavy lift, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. So it's gonna be hard work. You got to be dedicated. You got to get you some good mentors. If you're interested in speaking, go to my website, winwithwillie.com. There's a speaking class. It's called youcanspeaknow.com. Youcanspeaknow.com. It's right there. But if you go to youcanspeaknow.com, or you can just go to Win with Willie and look for the speaking program. Win with speaking. Then you can win with your goals. There's a goal setting class. There are my products that are available. All my books. You need to get my book, A Setback Set Up for a Comeback. You need to invest in your books. Just like I got a library. You can see some of my library if you on the video over there. I got another book stacks all around this office. I got book stacks upstairs in my living room, my dining room, my family room. I got book stacks in my bathrooms.
A man that used to not read.
Okay. That was a man who did not read. But once I figured it out, I invested in books. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on books.
Yeah.
I haven't read them all.
Wow.
But sometimes all I need is one line out the book, like in the book, The Road Less Traveled.
Got you.
First line, life is difficult, period.
Yes.
But it's worth the journey. Come on, somebody.
So I'm looking.
Win with Willie. Everybody go there, get some free stuff. WJ Wild to get the free book, Rich Think and Grow Rich, and then Win with Willie. Get the goal setting class. If you're interested in speaking, take the You Can Speak Now class, and then get my resources, my books and audios and videos right there and there, because they'll change your life. They'll change your thinking. If you thought this was good today, if this inspired you, if this encouraged you, if this empowered you, invest in getting more.
Yes.
It's worth every penny. Let me tell you something I've learned, Eric.
Yes, sir.
I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've never regretted one penny I spent for self-development. Never.
Right. Changed your life tremendously, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I can't let you go
Yes, sir.
out talking about your show with you and Miss D. So I
Yes.
want her to punch me in my nose the next time I see you.
You're kind man. Thank you. So my wife and I wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. As he mentioned, I've been married a long time. We've been married on 38, going on 39 years. Haven't had an argument in over 37 years.
That's powerful.
Haven't had an argument. Do we always agree? No. We disagree. We disagree. But you learn how to disagree without arguing. And it makes it so much nicer. I encourage everybody to go to our marriage website, jollymarriage.com. Watch our TED Talk, How to Never Ever Argue Again in Marriage. Watch that. And number 2, get the marriage book. Get 2 copies, one for you and one for your significant other. Read it together. I don't want you to have one read it, then the other one. I want you to get the momentum. Momentum is you're doing it together. You're doing it together. So the momentum, read the book together. And at the end of each chapter, discuss what you learned. Number 3, could join us every Monday night for our marriage show, the Jolly Marriage Show, on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitter Live, LinkedIn Live. You can go, and then it's on the Jolly Marriage Show on YouTube. You can watch old episodes, and we deal with just about every topic you can imagine: sex, money, communication, infidelity issues that people have had and asked us about, how to get past them. All of these kinds of things we talk about. People who have sex issues. I mean, in terms of there's a problem in the bedroom. We talk about the things that we're not counselors, we're coaches or mentors. Okay? But go there. It's Monday nights, 9:00 on A Jolly Marriage on Facebook, A Jolly Marriage on Instagram, A Jolly Marriage on Twitter, and Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live. A Jolly Marriage on Facebook, A Jolly Marriage on Instagram, A Jolly Marriage on Twitter, and Willie Jolley LinkedIn Live.
And that all started because you arguing over Chinese food, right?
Arguing over Chinese food. And that's what changed our lives, changed our marriage. You got it. You got it.
Well, Dr. Jolley, I told you I'm going to get you out of here. I want to thank you. You dropped some bombs here tonight, some nuggets for everybody to really help overcome some challenges that they face. And I want to encourage everybody that's listening here today, go back, listen to this again, take some notes. I'm going to drop the websites and the links in the description book, but you got to put some action, take some work and take some notes there and really start implementing these things and taking risks to change your life. Dr. Jolley, thank you. You really are you truly are a momentum shifter. And I'm so glad to have you join me. And I look forward to possibly working with you again.
I appreciate you. And I'll close with this. Follow your dream wherever it leads. Don't be distracted by less worthy needs. Shelter it, nourish it, help it to grow. Hold your dream deep, down deep where dreams grow. Follow your dream, pursue it with haste. Life is too precious, too fleeting to waste. Be faithful, be loyal, and all the day through, the dream that you follow will keep coming true. God bless you. Thank you, Eric, and blessings to everybody who's watching. I'll see you if you're in DC on the 27th for my comeback show. And for the rest of you, go to winwithwillie.com, get some of the free goodies and some of the resources we have there. God bless.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eric Collier. Thank you for joining us for the Momentum Shift, show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. Until next week, keep pushing because nobody's going to do it for you. Take care. Are you feeling stuck, dreaming of a life beyond your current boundaries? I'm Eric Collier, and I've been where you are. Now, as an international speaker, 3-time international best-selling co-author, veteran, and the host of the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I've dedicated my life to helping people just like yourself embark on a transformative journey to unlocking your inner greatness. With my wealth of experience and a proven track record, I guide individuals to break through barriers and create life-changing momentum shifts. Having been featured in news and magazine articles, on television shows, and spoken on stages like the National Press Club and Columbia University, my message has inspired people worldwide to turn the impossible into possible. On my show, the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I'm committed to sparking a movement that empowers others to shift momentum in their lives, offering motivational insights, interviews, and thought-provoking discussions. If you are ready to redefine what's possible and unlock your potential, then subscribe to my mailing list for exclusive content and updates. Join a community of motivated individuals just like yourself on the path to greatness. Subscribe now and transform your life at CericCollier.com.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.